Barry is a candidate. He's a Republican for state senate in Virginia. He is running in a primary against two other candidates, incumbent Steve Martin and challenger Amanda Chase. And this is the 11th district is basically a Chesterfield-type district, but it's Amelia, Colonial Heights, parts of Chesterfield. This nomination will be decided in a primary, not a convention, a regular primary where you show up with an ID and you vote. It's open on June 9th. Good to have you with us, Barry.
Good morning, John. Good to be here. Thank you very much.
Now, let's just start running against two people, Amanda Chase, a challenger, and Steve Martin. Steve's been there for a while. He's been there for 4 terms. Why are you running against Steve Martin? Why do you want to unseat Steve Martin?
You know, John, it's a couple things to this. I want to serve our community in the Virginia State Senate. With my business background and experience, I've had a lot of great success, along with my ability to understand and how to balance budgets. I think that's important to bring down the General Assembly. I can benefit our community. I represent our district very well, and I've been doing that for years in the business world, and now I'd like to do this in the General Assembly. I look for ways to build our community. I identify opportunities. Over all these years, I try to engage citizens and listen, and I learn, and I will do that for the next 4 years as a state senator. I want to use some logic and intelligent decision making. Steve Martin's a 27-year career politician. I'm going to try to bring some listening skills and learn from the people in our district. And by being logical, being a intelligent decision-making process person, I think I could help families in the district pursue their successes. This past year or two, just real quick glimpse, I've been honored in a lot of different ways. And Retailer of the Year, and again, whether it's my employer and my position that allows me to do this, or just my ability as a human being outside of the business world, there are 24 hours in a day, 7 days a week, and I work for the community. I love my family, I work for my family, and I work for the community. And I was named, John, Retailer of the Year by Retail Merchants Association, and that's the reason I run. I've been recognized by businesses in this community. You could drive by all the businesses. Barry Moore was named Retailer of the Year. And I stopped and I didn't care about the award to the degree until I stopped and listened to what it's about. And it's 30 years of my life I've been developing understanding of the business community and working with the community and putting myself, arm in arm with people working for a future. I'm committed, I'm a committed leader in Virginia, and I will be a committed leader in the Virginia Senate. I'm a conservative businessman. I've been creating jobs. I support hardworking families. I deal with them, John, every day. There are issues. People are going through bankruptcies, foreclosures. They're trying to balance budgets. They need to be motivated. They need to be pushed and inspired. That's what we do here in small business, day in and day out. As your senator, I'm going to use the same basically job-creating experience to recruit new businesses to our area. Like you mentioned, the areas of Colonial Heights, Amelia, and South Chesterfield. I want to bring some business here that's more manufacturing, some research and development companies, and I want to fight wasteful government spending. Just like I do on my business job, I have got to create a budget, I've got to meet it, and I've got to defend it. And when I do, we are very profitable. I'm going to defend the Constitution. I'm an NRA member. And again, that's why I'm running. I support the Second Amendment. I'm pro-life. I'm a conservative. As a local business person, I've become very involved in the community's charities. There's hundreds of them that I've dealt with. And I was honored last year also to talk about, to mention to you that I was the Chesterfield County Impact Award winner. And also, I was a Boomer and Shaker, and that's Boomer Magazine. I don't know if you read that or your audience reads it, but John, that tells me I'm over 50 years old, and I was shocked. I thought I was a lot younger. But that was a great award, and that was people like Larry Sabato, Ed Ayers at the University of Richmond, some high-powered people that I was recognized. So I am running for a lot of reasons. It's because of my background, who I am, and what I know about this community. And again, I am running against a 27-year career politician.
Well, okay, Barry, it's tough to use the label career politician against a Virginia legislator when they serve part-time and make $18,000, but I see the longevity issue. Share with our audience for a minute You mentioned you were a retailer of the Annam several times. Tell our audience exactly what your line of work is, Barry.
I'm in the automobile industry, a retailer. We sell cars, service cars, body shop work, and I'm general manager. So I run the day-to-day operation for owners. We're a privately held company. I've been doing this since 1983.
And that's the Haley organization, right?
That's correct. Okay. John, you mentioned the senator serves, a career politician serves, and what I have found, and I created a site, and I applied for this job, something unlike anyone else has ever done, I believe, in the political world. But in the business world, no matter what the job is, you have to apply. I've invited the other two candidates to apply for the job. And I'll tell you what, I know we say we serve for a couple months and then we go back to our job. That's what I want to see our incumbent list down what he does, what's his office address, his phone number, because I got to tell you, in the advertising marketing world, I never hear him advertise for his business, and yet he needs customers. So I will say I wish he would take the time to fill out this job application. It's not a gimmick. It's been called a gimmick by those in the political arena. And I guess if I didn't want to put something on paper, I probably wouldn't do a job application and change what's been going on for all these years. But I think today I've given people an opportunity as voters to look at three candidates and look at their resume, job application, fraud background, my credit score. So at least nothing's perfect, but at least understand who we are voting. So I think that is important. So that takes the meaning of 27 year.
Well, wait a minute, Barry. Wait a minute. I mean, you just said that in your district there's people that have bankruptcies, foreclosures, bad credit that you're representing because people have fallen on hard times. Now you're asking legislators to put their FICO score on a piece of paper. That's private information, Barry. I think that's over the top, and it's inconsistent with what you just said. But I want to get, if I may, I want to get back to, you said three times that you're for balancing the budget. That's fine. I mean, I'm for that, no question.
Sure.
But in Virginia, you have to have a balanced budget. So whether you balance the budget or don't balance the budget, by law, by constitution, they got to find a way to balance it. What I'd like to get to, let's take Steve Martin. You look at his voting record in the Senate. Let's get to some distinctive policies. What are some differing policies that you would have had, or what are some things that Steve Martin voted for or voted the other way that you would have gone the opposite way on?
Well, I think the first one is back in 2007 to talk about with the tax increases that he put out there on, it was HB 32, I believe it was 02, transportation funding, and I checked that out. And as a conservative, you should have been up in arms about that. As and I did a little research. Paul Jost, who was chairman of the Club for Growth, called it a dishonest attempt to fool voters of Virginia into thinking they were not raising taxes, and he went on from there. So I think that's a big thing. You don't vote as a conservative, vote for raising taxes and disguise it. And then transportation bill last year, the same thing.
Okay, that was 2007, Barry. It's 2015. So give me another example.
Well, transportation bill last year.
What was that? 2000.
In 2014.
I mean, the Grand Transportation Compromise bill, tax increase, call it whatever you will. I was in favor of that. Martin voted on that. No. So right now, you're only giving me something that goes back to 2007. It's 2015. And so I'm trying to look for some policy differences between personality, between yourself and Martin.
Well, I got to tell you, in my opinion, okay, if I vote no or vote yes, that's a voting record. But what do I do with leadership? What do I do behind in the caucus, or what do I do with a group of folks? And do I have the ability to lead within my own party? Do people follow me? Am I the chairperson of the finance committee? Do I have the respect of my party? Are they following me? Am I leading them? So when there's a yes and no vote, what am I accomplishing? There's more than just voting the record, yes, no, and getting good grades. I believe there's some other leadership issues, and then you have to be back involved with your people. You have to know what people are saying in the area of your district. And, all the things I've done all these years, I'm a conservative and I'm out there. as a business person, and it is in the nonprofit world and in the community. And I've never met the senator who I've been voting for years. I've never met him. I believe it was about February or January of last year, 2014, when I first met him. So that leadership voting, yes or no, there's more to it. I believe there's leadership. You have to talk. You have to get people excited within your own party and get people to understand where you're coming from. They have to listen to you and hopefully get them to follow you. I'm going to try to be that person for the people of the 11th District.
Let's get to some big ideas, some policy. I'll toss one out. One of your contemporaries, Vince Haley, running for State Senate in, I'm going to say, District 12, memory serves me.
District 12, correct.
Yeah, has come up with the idea of eliminating the state income tax in Virginia, buying it down over time. That's kind of his big idea. Other people's have others. What do you think of that, and do you think Virginians are taxed too much?
Any tax is too much. So if we can lower it as much as possible, and if Vince's idea works and it could follow through, would be great, obviously, for every citizen here. If we can still run a state in some form or fashion and still have the services that we need that are most important, obviously, that law enforcement, safety, fire, EMS, if we could maintain all those things and have lower, or of course in a perfect world, a no tax, that would put more money back in the hands of the business owners. And that's a conservative concept, letting business owners invest in what they need to do to run their business daily, to have employees, to help grow their economy around them. So it is, a great concept. Would it happen? Has it happened elsewhere in the country? There are states with a lot higher taxes and then some with lower or no taxes. So I understand this concept and would welcome talking about that when the time comes. But the most important thing right now is getting people back to work. Small business owners need the freedom to get people to apply and be able to hire them, and they got to make a budget. They've got to make a profit, or they cannot stay in business. I clearly understand that. That's my day-to-day life. It's the world I live in, and I'm excited to bring that knowledge along with someone like a Vince Haley, and then we talk about that over the next couple of years.
Barry, what would be some of your other policies, some of the things, initiatives you'd try to do in order to facilitate what you just said, which is create jobs?
Yeah, the creating the new jobs is obviously we have to have lower taxes. So when we make a gross profit, the margins have cut over the years, smaller and smaller. Our state budget has increased phenomenal amount of money. Yet in my industry right now, since 2006, as a retailer, our gross profit has dwindled down percentage. I know home builders struggle. Their profits are cut more and more over the years to stay competitive. So if we can have less taxes, less involvement from the government, if we could imagine bringing our sessions down to 30 days. Let's have less time down to General Assembly and get us, if we're all back working in our jobs and have less government involvement, I think that would help us. I think it's, getting vets jobs and getting vets homes is an important thing in our community. Veterans are great employees. They just need to be interviewed and then hired if they are qualified. Senior fraud on the Better Business Bureau Board and also on the Virginia War Memorial Board, Educational Foundation Board, I learned a lot about veteran issues, consumer issues, the fraud issues. Senior fraud is growing, and seniors, by 2025, I believe the number is going to be, I heard at Chamber of Commerce 2 weeks ago, one millennial versus one senior. So we are a society that's changing. So senior fraud is a significant thing to look at. And again, we got to continue to build manufacturing down in my district and bring high-speed internet
Barry,
out to Amelia.
We're out of time. People want more info. Where do they go?
That's great, John. Thank you for your time. VoteBarryMoore.com. VoteBarryMoore.com is MOORE.
Okay,
and I'm a conservative businessman in the business.
We're out of time. Thanks for being with us.